It's game time.
Tristan! Matt! Tristan! Matt! Tristan! Matt! Tristan! A game has never managed to both disappoint and surprise me just as much as Akira on the Famicom. A game I thought was going to be a bit spooky as the anime adaptation had its moments, so I played it on our Those Guys Play channel with Tristan for Halloween. But it was pretty milquetoast when it came to the spookiness. Although that's not exactly why I was disappointed. More on that later. Akira is a mostly point-and-click adventure game that was developed by Tosei and published by Taito. It was released for the Famicom on December 24th, 1988. I said mostly because there's a bit of a genre shift that I'll cover later in the review. Overall though, the game is based off the manga and anime of the same name. To stop the comment section from forming an angry mob in front of my home, I'll say that I read the entirety of the manga and watched the movie. I didn't only watch the film and read the first volume because then I'd be kidnapped and experimented on, etc., etc. Oh god, for those of you who don't know about the plot. The story revolves around a group of rebellious youths in Neo-Tokyo in the year 2019. During the franchise's 1980s release, that was the future. We're all getting old. This future is born out of atomic bombs being dropped onto Tokyo in 1988 that started a world war. At least, that's what big government wants you to think. Ha 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 ha, that's not foreshadowing. But seriously, the story shows clashes between the passion and stubbornness of youth as it comes face to face with a rigid authoritarian government. Young versus old. It's a tale as old as time, with some twists. In Akira specifically, Kaneda and his biker gang end up clashing with the government by trying to save their friend who's been kidnapped, named Tetsuo. This game also follows that, but it does something I never thought I would say. It was too close of an adaptation. I know, but really. So the point-and-click elements have you make choices throughout the game. The problem is that these choices have to be an exact recreation. You have to do things the way it was done in the manga/anime, step by step. Otherwise, you feel like you're caught in a Groundhog's Day loop of continuously dying. I've seen the film a few times and I loved it, but I'd have been pissed if I had to have a copy of it and the manga just to get through the game. It definitely reminds me of difficult point-and-click adventure games that came before it on the PC. But I don't mean that in a good way. If you like those games, then more power to you, but it's definitely not my jam. Another problem is not knowing what to choose, as this is a translation of something that is an adaptation of something that was also translated in English. This game may make more sense in the original Japanese to someone who's read and watched Akira in Japanese, but to me, I'm constantly thrown for a loop by the steps I need to take. And, as this is a fan translation, certain walkthroughs don't match up, as some are based on the original Japanese version of the game. I do have to say though, it might sound like I don't like this game, and I don't, but the artwork and music are fantastic. The game manages to recreate famous scenes from the anime in a way that's breathtaking. There's certain situations that might be a bit comical, but I think the exterior shots look gorgeous. Now, while I said the music was fantastic, it can be a bit hard to hear over the beeping noise of the text scrolling noise. Seriously, listen to this and tell me what you think down below. I hate it. I had to mute the game basically, which really takes away from the soundtrack. The game was composed by Toshiko Kawanishi, and she allegedly composed many Tosei games, but wasn't credited as Tosei didn't believe in credits? What the hell, Tose? That's a weird thing to learn today. But moving on with the review, something that this game did that really shocked me was that genre shift. This game takes a huge shift towards the end of the game and turns into a stationary first-person shooter. Normally, I would welcome this as I love genre shifts in video games, but Tose even managed to make this painful. You have to fire instantly. Otherwise, the enemy will get a shot in, and then you're dead. One shot, and you're dead. It hurts so much. Especially trying to aim with an NES directional pad. You can dodge and turn around, both things you need to do as they'll come at you from both sides. Thankfully, when, not if, you die, they do let you try again from the scene right before. Earlier in the game, they just made you start from the beginning. So, yay! Thanks, Tose. Now, if you somehow get to the end of the game, there are 3 possible endings you can get. One is based on the movie, one is a shorter version of the manga ending, and another is the full manga ending. Visually, these look stunning, but gameplay-wise, if you're like me, you're finally happy that it's all over. Akira on the Famicom can't hurt you now. You're safe. You're safe now. So, do I recommend this game? Well, if you're a fan of the series and enjoy point and clicks, then sure. It might be difficult, but I don't think you'd hate it. But if you aren't a fan of the series, or don't like point and clicks, then don't bother. The genre shifts were fun, but were so short that it's just not worth it. Which stinks, because there aren't really a lot of Akira games out there, but it is what it is. But if you've had experience with this game either in English or in the original Japanese, then please comment down below. I would love to hear another perspective. Or if you also don't like the game, then I would love to hear that as well.
Tristan? Tristan?